So, what happened? Lamont and Bronowski are scientists, and they're salty. They're salty scientists. They hate Hallam, also a scientist, for doing something. 30 years earlier, someone played with Hallam's tungsten. So he gets mad, vengefully mad, and he decides to investigate. It turns out the tungsten has weird properties, impossible properties. The properties of
plutonium-186.
Which, surely means something to someone somewhere, eventually. But this mystery metal, it keeps on evolving. After a bit more bickering, there is a meeting to discuss said mystery metal, where it is posited that perhaps there is a parallel universe, switching their plutonium-186, totally stable in their place, for our delicious tungsten, totally stable in our place, which provides an endless supply of free energy for each universe. Neato Frito. Salty scientist Lamont, back when he was just a fresh scientist at the pump, before all the sodium, he wanted to write the story of the pump. Oh yeah, the pump is how they harness the power of the interdimensional loop-de-whoops. But Lamont, while interviewing Hallam, he put too much emphasis on the inter part of the interdimensional wookity-woos. That faulty emphasis ticked off Hallam. Scientific saltiness on two sides follows. Then it turns out in a flashback that salty scientist Bronowski is a language specialist. He figured out Etruscan. Bravo. Lamont is trying to get him to translate the messages that come attached to the paramen, the interdimensional men's, offerings. Flash slightly forward, it turns out that Lamont doesn't trust the science of the para-exchange. Hallam tells him to shut the hell up, but he doesn't. He doesn't shut the hell up. He goes and sees a senator. See, he doesn't just distrust the science. He thinks it's wrong enough to make the sun go boom, which is less than desirable. The senator tells him to piss off. Not to be deterred, salty Lamont sets up a meeting with another bigwig and is turned down due to lack of evidence. So, the second bigwig? He goes and tells Hallam. Salty Lamont gets fired, and salty Bronowski quits.
Remember all those salty scientists from part 1? Yeah, they're gone now. Not talking about them. Hallam, Lamont, Bronowski, the other guy, all gone. Because we're in another world. The parallel universe, to be exact. You see, there are no people. Well, people used in a loose term because the parallel universe is inhabited by intelligent creatures. They talk, walk, act, and sound human, but Asimov is too good for that. So yeah, they're different. And there's soft ones and hard ones. Soft ones are never really described, at least not described well, but they're kind of gassy, floating, see-through thingies. Or not, they may be underwater, but let's go with the gassy thing. We do know they feed via photosynthesis, so boom, we immediately know it would be bad news if the pump blew up their sun too. Side note, contrary to popular belief, blowing up the sun is indeed a bad thing. Things get too hot, bad things happen. People, and I'm assuming most soft ones, don't like having their face melted by the sun. But anyway, there are also hard ones. They kind of dominate the soft ones and act as a mentor of sorts, as the soft ones create a triad, which is their journey into adulthood and how they reproduce. It's not typical reproduction on Earth, when a man loves a woman. No, the triad consists of 3 members, which are all necessary to produce offspring. Kind of like your parents in the 70s. Gross. So this particular triad we're reading about is special. They're all just a little different because they think and act sometimes outside of their assigned role, especially Dua, who is a very, very strange emotional. So we have Dua, our emotional, she's the middle, Odin, our rational, the left, and finally Trit, our parental, right. Now, when the time is right and the mood is set, these three melt together, which is their form of sexual intercourse, and only when an emotional is involved can orgasm be reached. But what happens during a gassy, see-through, space-thingy orgasm, you ask? Great questions, because we don't know. They black out for days and just bask in their sexy time. Now, Dua wants to know what exactly these hard ones are and where they came from. You might say, wink wink, she's thinking awfully rationally for an emotional. Odin has heard of this super great hard one called Estwald, who is apparently the end-all be-all in the realm of hard ones. Super intelligent, this Estwald character apparently has made something called a pump that is producing a massive amount of energy. At this point, we should consult our trusty dictionary for pattern. Noun. A reliable sample of traits, acts, tendencies, or other observable characteristics of a person, group, or institution. So, Trit steals an energy battery and feeds it to Dua, because, nom 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 nom, soft ones like energy. This leads to some sweet lovemaking resulting in conception, but she feels betrayed. So she needs more answers. Dua learns too much from Odin and now realizes it's her duty to stop this pump before the sun explodes. So all those messages the salty scientists got last week, yeah, they're Dua. The solution is to melt into a rock, which is a big no-no in Soft One society as it is essentially masturbation, but she does so anyway and learns the big secret. Soft ones don't just pass on. The triad melts together and forms a single hard-on. Hard one. One. Plot twist. Odin, Dua, and Trit melt together and become Estwald when they're blacked out. Together, they collectively built the pump and doomed civilization.
There is a salty scientist perusing the civilization on the surface of the moon. Is it Bronowski? No. Is it Hallam? No. Is it Salty Lamont? No. It is Dr. Benjamin Allen Dennison. Do you believe it? Do you remember him? Me either. But as luck and the plot would have it, Dennison shared his bus to the moon with the soon-to-be new Moon Commissioner, who recognizes him. I mean, don't we all know at least one radiochemist turned male cosmetic salesman's appearance by heart? Conrad Gottstein, the soon-to-be new Moon Commissioner, and Louise Montez, the soon-to-be no longer Moon Commissioner, have a talky-talk about being Moon Commissioner. Turns out not quite former Moon Commissioner Montez is suspicious of the loonies, Moonborn people, but he doesn't know what to do about it. Gottstein does. He'll talk to Dennison, of course. Oh yeah, Moon Lady. There's a Moon Lady named Selene, pronounced Selene, and she does not hate Dennison, which surprises her. Also, she was genetically engineered to have intuitions. She's a tourist guide, and she's sleeping with a guy named Baron Neville, who is an important moon guy. He also wants Moon Lady Selene to keep an eye on Dennison. Probably he is a lipstick enthusiast. Also, she intuited a machine called the Pionizer, which counterintuitively has nothing to do with peanut butter pies, after sex one night that could revolutionize moon life. The machine, not the sex. Probably. Baron wants a pump of his own, which, yes, is an awkward transition, you're welcome, but with an energy source like the pump, the loonies would not be married to the moon surface. Baron's pump will actually counter the harmful effects of the Earth's pump, hooray, but there are other physics and consequences. By leveraging those other physics and consequences, Baron Neville will divorce the moon from Earth's orbit. Enter Moon Lady Selene. The moon people have outvoted Baron, but they will join forces and build space stations for people who wish to defect from the influence of Earth, like Magneto. Frito. Selene and Ben go hubba 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 hubba. Awooga! boogada, boogada, boogada.